Unit 1, Week 1, Lesson 2. How do I know if a book is just right for me? And why is it important to select a just right book? As you start to select books to read during independent reading time or your reading lessons, it is important that you select just right books. Why do you think it's important to find just right books? Well, books that are too easy will not help you grow as a reader, which is a necessary part of reading. And books that are too difficult are often too hard to understand. So as you select books to read for independent reading, it's important for you to select just right books. And an easy way to find books that are the perfect fit for you is to use the 5-finger rule. You're going to select a book, turn to any page, and begin reading. Put one finger up in the air for each word you don't know. At the end of the page, if you are holding up 0 or 1 fingers, the book is too easy. If you are holding up 2 or 3 fingers, the book is just right. And if you're holding up 4 or 5 fingers, the book is too hard. We're going to listen to Goldie Socks and the 3 Liberians. It will show you the importance of finding just right text.
Somebody's been looking at my books. An intriguing cottage at my books. An intriguing cottage made of books tempts an inquisitive Goldie Socks to peek inside. As she searches the shelves, she finds books that are too big and books that are too small. But soon she discovers that using the 5-finger rule can help her find a book that's just right. Satisfied, she finds a comfy spot to read. But what will the 3 librarians think when they come home to find Goldie in their cottage with her just right book? This clever twist on an old classic will delight children of all ages and encourage them to find a book that's just right for them. Goldie Socks and the 3 Librarians. Written by Jackie Mims Hopkins. Illustrated by John Manders. Once upon a time, nestled deep in an enchanted forest, there lived a book-loving bear family. Papa Bear was a public librarian. Mama Bear was a school librarian. And their son, Baby Bear, was a librarian in training at the Grizzly Preschool. One morning, a little girl named Goldie Socks was on her way to school. Goldie Socks usually walked along the road, but this day, since she was running particularly late, she decided to take a shortcut through the forest. By and by, Goldie Socks came upon an astonishing sight. There, in the middle of the forest, she saw a cottage that appeared to be made of books. Goldie Socks loved books more than bears love honey, so she went up to the house for a closer look. She knocked on the door, and to her surprise, it creaked open. Cautiously, Goldie Socks peeked inside. Shelves and shelves of wondrous books lined the walls. She called out to see if anyone was home, but no one answered. Goldilocks knew she shouldn't go in, but the temptation of all those books was more than she could bear. Once inside the cottage, Goldilocks went straight to the shelves and began browsing through the books. The first book she pulled off the shelf was too big. In fact, it was so heavy that it fell on the floor. Goldilocks went to another shelf, but the book she took from this shelf was too little. Then she looked through some nonfiction books and found one that was just right. Goldilocks wandered over to another shelf and opened up a chapter book. She used the 5-finger rule to see if the book was too hard. She started with a closed fist. When she came to a word she couldn't read, she put up one finger. All 5 fingers went up while reading the first page of the book, so she knew that the book was too hard for her. She tried another book, but it was too easy. Then she found a book of fairy tales that was just right. After she found several books that were just right for her, Goldilocks began searching for the perfect place to read. Goldilocks looked around the room and spotted a big lazy bear recliner. She climbed up in the enormous chair and pushed back, but it went back too far. She surveyed the room again, and this time she spied a poofy couch with lots of pillows. Goldilocks sprang into the air and landed smack dab in the middle of the couch. Pillows flew everywhere. The couch was too squishy. Maybe there is a comfy place upstairs, she thought. When Goldilocks reached the top of the stairs, she saw a tent made out of a blanket. She crawled inside the cozy tent, opened up the book of fairy tales, and began reading. Yes, this place is just right. Around noon, the 3 librarians came home for lunch. Papa Librarian immediately noticed one of his books on the floor. "Somebody's been looking at my big books and left one on the floor," he said. Then Mama Librarian said, "Somebody's been looking at my little books and put one back on the shelf with the pages showing instead of the spine." Then Baby Librarian said, "Somebody's been looking at my nonfiction books and one is gone." Papa Librarian looked at another shelf and said, "Somebody's been looking at my hard books and left one on top of the shelf." "Somebody's been looking at my easy books and put one back on the shelf upside down," said Mama Librarian. Then Baby Librarian said, "Somebody's been looking at my fairy tale books and one is gone." Papa Librarian saw that his favorite chair was not in the same position that he had left it. "Somebody's been sitting in my recliner and left it pushed back," he said. Then Mama Librarian said, "Somebody's been on my poofy couch and knocked all the pillows on the floor." The 3 librarians crept up the stairs. When they got to the top, Baby Librarian said, "Somebody's been in my cozy reading tent, and there she is." Goldilocks looked up from her book and saw the big sharp teeth of the 3 librarians smiling at her. Papa, Mama, and Baby Librarian joined Goldilocks in the tent. Papa Librarian read a story to everyone, and it was just right. Hello, friends. I hope you use the 5 feet.
Okay, we are going to practice reading, we're going to practice the 5-finger rule. What I want you to do is I want you to take a couple seconds and I want you to read the passage silently. As you read the passage silently or aloud to yourself, I want you to hold a finger up for each word you don't know. Go ahead and go. I want to remind you that when you're done reading the whole passage, to remember how many fingers you held up. Were there any surprises when you were reading the passage? Today, one of your assignments is going to practice the 5-finger rule with a couple of different types of books that you have in and around your house. See if you can find a book that is too easy, too hard, and one that is just right.